Okay, so one of the very useful uses of the while loop is for input checking. This is a program where we calculate the number of soccer teams in a youth league. We have a number of available players, and we want to have a certain size of the team. This is the minimum size of 9, maximum size of 15, and we want to make sure that we work with valid numbers. Now, the input checking over here is totally separate from the program itself, in the sense that it's not really built around the code itself. First, let's look at how it works over here. So we have our constants and variable declarations over here. Over here we ask for the number of players per team, and this is the answer of the user, and that answer can be valid or invalid. Now then, we're going to check the team size against the minimum size and the maximum size, and if it's either less than the minimum or greater than the maximum, then this condition is true, and we're going to execute this. The team size should be between a minimum and a maximum, and how many players do you wish per team. And as long as you're too low or too high, it's going to execute this code over and over again, and only when you give the valid number, then it will let you pass. And that brings me to an issue too with input checking. Don't make the mistake of using an if instead of a while for input checking. Okay, if you replace the while in 27 and 38, this one over here, and the other one over here, the number of players cannot be negative. We don't have negative players. If you make that an if loop, then it's going to accept an invalid number once you run out of ifs. And we'll show that too. So anyway, this makes sure that we have a valid size for the team. Then we're going to ask for the number of players, and that, like I said, it has to be greater than 0. And if it's less than 0, then we're entering a positive number over and over again until the user finally does what he's supposed to. So let's first run it with the input checking, then we're going to remove it and show you that without the input checking, it would eventually accept a wrong input. Okay, so we have to be between 9 and 15. I'm going to use 20 over here, and it tells me you have to be between 9 and 15, and I'm going to keep answering 20, and it's never going to let me go past over here. If I do 5, then it's not going to accept it either, over and over again, until I give a valid number, and soccer teams, it's usually 11 players. So over here, so now we have 11 per team. How many team members will be available? Minus 99, not going to be accepted. Minus 88, not accepted. Minus 12, not accepted. Okay, now I'm going to say we're going to do 25 players, and that means that we'll have 2 teams of 11 with 3 players left over. So you see that with invalid input, it's not going to work until we give it valid input. Now let's replace this with an if, and we'll do the same thing over here with an if, just to show you the difference between validation with an if and with a while. So now I'm going to run the program again, and I'm going to give invalid input. We had 20 per team. that's not acceptable. 20. Okay, and now it's going to let us pass. How many players are available? Minus 99. Enter a positive number. I'm going to give it minus 99 again. And it says over here we'll have minus 4 teams of 20 with minus 19 players left over. And of course that doesn't make any sense. So eventually an if will let it pass. Then finally we're going to take out the input validation here. And that shows you the real basic structure of the program here. So we're going to work with invalid input again. This time we're going to take 20 again, and it will just let us pass. How many players are available? Minus 99. And on the first try it's just going to accept all the invalid input. So make sure that you use a while for the input, not an if, and input validation is important.